Good morning again. This is Carter Conlon and welcome to my morning. As you can see, I'm still on vacation. Today is not as sunny as it was yesterday. It's a little bit of wind and a touch of rain today, but you know, when you're in a beautiful place, even the worst of days has something of God in it. I want to talk to you about that today because one time, many years ago, I was on vacation and I was in a place where there was a really fierce storm going on. I'm going to describe that in just a minute. I want to talk to you about how I saw the hand of God in that storm. But let's start today with 2 Kings chapter 6, the story of Elisha and his servant. They're in a particular city, and it says, the servant of God, in 2 Kings 6:15, the servant of the man of God arose early and went out, and there was an army surrounding the city with horses and chariots. In other words, this matter of fact, they had surrounded the city. And this is a Syrian army, so they had sent quite a significant force against this particular city. And the man of God, the servant of the man of God, when he arose early, he saw the city surrounded with horses and chariots. And his servant said to him, that is to Elisha, "Alas, my master, what shall we do?" In other words, we are outnumbered. The force against us is more powerful than that which we have at our disposal. I'm sure he looked over the wall and probably counted the soldiers, counted the chariots, looked around east, west, north, south, then looked behind him in the city and did a comparison of what he felt they had in comparison to what was coming against them. You know, a lot of people live like that. They feel that maybe I have a calling of God in my life, but what's against me is so strong that I don't know if I'll ever see that calling in my life fulfilled. And so he, that being Elisha, answered and said, "Do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them." And Elisha prayed, and this is a prayer he prayed. He said, "Lord, I pray, open his eyes that he may see." Then the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. So there was a whole realm that this young man was oblivious to. And there's a whole spiritual realm sometimes that we don't see because we have a tendency just to look at what's around us. We look in the mirror and we gauge our strength by what we see in the mirror or what's on our wall or what's not on our wall. And we just come to the conclusion that what's against me is so powerful that I have no real chance to go forward in the calling of God on my life. I want to suggest to you that nothing could be further from the truth. And let me tell you how I saw that in a way that really impacted me and just opened my eyes to something that you normally would not see. So I was in a place similar to this, and there was quite a fierce storm coming in. There was an inlet in the place I was staying in, and the winds were howling. Waves maybe 4 to 5 feet tall. The tide is coming in. And the tide is literally bringing hundreds of millions of gallons of water into inland as it is. And the water is coming in with such power that in the springtime, I was told it can move icebergs with it. You can't row against it. It's that powerful. If you're in a rowboat and you try, you're going to get in trouble. The tide is just too strong for you. But one day I'm sitting there, I'm reading my Bible. I'm not getting any particular revelation out of it. It happens that way someday. I'm just reading for the sake of reading and knowing that I should do that. And the storm was happening outside of me in this particular inlet that we were on at that time. And you see the window behind me with the crisscross lattice work. And I'm looking at the power of the storm. My mind is wanting to think about the power of the storm. Thinking about how water moves. Thinking about how the gravitational pull of the moon is strong enough to pull like hundreds of millions of gallons of water inland, and it can move ships. Nothing can withstand its power. But you see the little crisscrosses on the window behind me. I looked through one of them, and there was a duck in the middle of this bay, and the duck was paddling against the current, against the wind, against the waves. And I felt the Lord say to me, "Behold the duck." Okay, maybe that's a good title for this devotional, "Behold the Duck." So in the little square in the window, I just started watching this little duck, and he's just paddling like this. He's just up on top of the waves. And over the course of, I suppose, about maybe 20 minutes or so, he had completely gone, he traversed one of the little squares in the window. He had gone from left to right in the square against all the power that was against him. He is completely oblivious to the fact that hundreds of millions of gallons of water are flowing in the opposite direction under him, and the power of that. The wind is howling against him. The waves are at least 4, maybe 5 feet tall. Maybe some might be bigger, some might be smaller. And they're all coming. And here he is. He's just paddling along, and he's going along. And I'm just watching him for about 20 minutes. And in about 20 minutes, he had gone through one particular square in the window, going in the opposite direction. Now, I looked at that, and two things God spoke to me. Number one, he's not aware of the fact that he shouldn't be able to do what he's doing. The power against him is so incredibly strong. If he had a mind, in a sense, to be aware of it, he might have chosen to go in the opposite direction or do something else. That's like we do, or given up, or just drawn some conclusions and said, well, it's too, alas, master, what shall we do? But he just kept paddling along, and all he's got is 2 little web feet, and they're underwater, and they're just paddling along. And I looked at it, and God said to me, Carter, the duck can do that because I designed him to do it. He's simply doing what he's been designed to do. I gave him what he needs. He's got 2 little web feet. They're underwater. They're going like this. He's up and down the waves, completely unaware of everything that is against him. And he's just kind of, he obviously could have flown over the whole thing, but he's just kind of enjoying his morning, put it that way, like I enjoy mine quite often. And he's just going up and down over the waves. And the Lord said, Carter, he's doing what I designed him to do. And there's no force that can stop that, no matter what's underneath him, or the wind that's howling against him, or the waves that are mounting around him. He's doing what I designed him to do. And I gave him everything he needs to do it with. I mean, if the duck had a mind to look at his 2 little web feet, he might come to the conclusion that I can't do this. And that's exactly what we do. I guess the question is today, each one of us have been designed by God to do something for his kingdom and for his glory. I don't know. You have a gifting of God. The Bible bears witness that when the Holy Spirit came into your life, you were given giftings of God. So you've been given the ability by God to do certain things that will bring glory to his name. And yes, you will be opposed. Yes, the winds will rise. And yes, the waves will come. We've been talking about that with Peter the last few days. Yes, the tide will be against you. The whole tide of society is not going in the direction maybe that many of us are going in. But we have been designed by God to go against that tide. And we've been designed to go against that tide, not with any amount of exuberance or human effort per se, but by just enjoying the ability that God has given us to do it. It's a phenomenal thought when you begin to think about it. So my question to you today is, what have you been designed to do? What has God called you to do? Maybe you've looked at the storm. Maybe you've looked at the currents of society. Maybe you've looked at just the power of the moment that seems to be against you. And you've come to the same conclusion that Elisha's servant came to. Alas, master, what shall we do? The need is so great, but the power against us is so momentous. How will we ever succeed? How will we ever make a difference? Behold the duck. Just do what God's designed you to do. Do it with the ability that God's given you. Do it with a mind to the fact that those who are with you are more than those who are against you. Paul the Apostle said it the best, if God be for us, who can be against us? What in this world or this universe can triumph over us if God be for us? And if God has set the course of your feet to do something for his glory, just do it. Just do it. Get up and do it. Like that little duck had no idea he was speaking to a guy who's going to be on YouTube speaking this about him, in a sense, to maybe 1,000 people or so. I don't know how many are going to hear this, but the little duck had no idea. He was just doing what God enabled him to do. And when you and I do what God has enabled us to do, we have no idea how many people are going to be affected by that in the future. Starting in your own home, with your own family, in your workplace. So get those little feet going because God has designed you to do something. Let's just take the journey for his glory. Can we just do that now? Let's take the journey. Come on, I want to challenge you. Get up today and take the journey for his glory. Don't look at this storm. Don't look at the waves. Don't look at the seas. Don't look at the tide. Don't look at any of it. Just do what God has called you to do. Speak what he's given you to speak. Go in the direction he's called you to go in. Somebody is watching. Somebody is going to be challenged by what they see you do. If a duck can challenge my life, how much more can your life challenge the people around you? This is Carter Conlon. Paddle on, my dear brother, my dear sister. He's coming soon. Welcome to my morning, and I hope my morning makes your day. See you again tomorrow.